The two dogs inside of you. Wisdom from, I think, who you'll find a very surprising source. And this contains the key to your ultimate victory. The two dogs inside you. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. I hope you heard the morning mantra today. Really good stuff. And if you didn't get to see Sandra D, and myself yesterday on Serpent and Dove, it's a must watch. If you didn't get to see the Consequential Rapscallions last night with Scotty Roberts, who is in the chat room right now, and we were joined by the honorary Italian Rapscallion. How do you like that one, Scotty? He's the Italian Rapscallion, Rocky Stucci, and it's good to see Sterling in the chat room as well. This is New Cosmic Knowledge, brought to you by the MYSTECH movement. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the MYSTECH logo, get you some of these things. They'll change your life. They changed mine, Sandra's, a lot of other people. The Italian Rapscallion, it's a great show. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you have probably heard the old proverb that says, there's two dogs inside of me. And I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to try to hide the source, because I didn't know that who said this until I looked this up and studied this morning, and it blew me away to find out who it was that said this, because the person that said it is a person of a lot of renown, and I want you to see and hear who this was. Inside of me, he said, there are two dogs. One is mean and evil. The other is good. And they fight each other all the time. When asked which one wins, this man answered, the one I feed the most. This quote, ladies and gentlemen, was from none other than Sitting Bull, the great American Indian chief of renown and valor and bravery and courage, and of course of great spiritual wisdom and insight. And it's not just Sitting Bull, and it's not just me, who some have called Shooting Bull, but it's not just us. Inside of every one of you, inside of every one of us, there's two dogs. And I don't care if you're a cat lover, a ferret lover, a hamster lover, a gerbil lover. That came out wrong. I don't care if you're any of those. You still have two dogs fighting inside you. And I actually see them as two wolves. There's really two wolves that are fighting inside you, or maybe two of those big devil dogs that are fighting inside you. Two of these, what was the Hound of the Baskervilles? Two of these really mean dogs. And like Sitting Bull said, the great chief said, and great honor to Sitting Bull and his people and his tribe in the memory of the horrific things that were perpetrated upon them by our government. And we have apologized for that. I have, at least. But one of these dogs is mean. One of these dogs is evil. And it's inside you, and it's inside me, and it's inside every one of us. And it will always be there. Then there's another dog, another wolf. And that wolf is good. That wolf is kind. That wolf, still a wolf, but it's not a wolf that is preying upon others. And they fight all the time. And they'll continue to fight all the time. I'm not here today to tell you how to get rid of the mean dog. The mean wolf's with you forever. I'm not here to tell you how to get rid of the evil wolf. The evil wolf's with you forever. As long as you're walking around in this, that wolf is with you. And I'm not here to teach you today how to stop the fight. Well, maybe I am. But there's always going to be a contest. And it's a day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, sometimes second by second practice of serious dedication to control and lead and guide these two dogs. They're part of who you are. And only eternal diligence will set you free. And I haven't found a more effective spiritual technology to do it than meditation. I haven't found a better meditation teacher to do it than Sandra D., my partner in life and this work. Some of you may have guessed who the two dogs are, but I want to start higher than that. I want to start up in our brain. The mean dog, the evil dog, is not necessarily really mean and evil. He acts mean, he acts evil. That's his manifestation of who he is and what he does. That's how he expresses himself. Why? Because this mean and evil wolf is expressive of your reptilian cortex. And cousin, there's some times in this life where you need that mean and evil wolf to rise up. Because there's times in this life where the good wolf is not going to be able to give you what you need in a particular situation. So I'm not calling for the eradication of the mean and evil wolf. I'm not calling for the eradication of your serpent, reptilian, cortex, fight or flight mode. The Christ, Jesus, the master, whatever you choose to call him, I call him the master. He said to be subtle as a serpent. He said, embrace that reptilian cortex, but be subtle with it. Use it, manage it, leverage it, control it. Because there's going to be times when you need the fight or flight. You try to do everything you can with the good dog, but sometimes, and Sandra D. knows what I'm talking about, sometimes if you just try to be a good dog, a good wolf, there are people out there whose mean and evil, reptilian, psychopathic, narcissistic, sociopathic wolf will devour your good wolf every time. Your good wolf is not enough to survive in this dimension, this reality, this frequency, this planet that we live on. That's why the Elohim designed us as hybrids between serpent and dove, between reptilian and human, between mean, evil, serpent brain, mean, evil, majestic serpent DNA. And I don't think mean and evil necessarily means mean and evil. It means don't mess with me. Because if you do, you're about to get a piece of something you don't want. You have to realize that you are going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And you have to realize that the master said to leverage that, be subtle, use that reptilian cortex, use that serpent part of you as you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You're going to try to be a good wolf, but if necessary, you'll be the baddest SOB in the VALLEYCOUSIN. So that reptilian wolf, you need him. You need her. But then there's another wolf. And that wolf is good. That wolf is a service to others wolf. The first wolf, the reptilian cortex wolf, service to self wolf. He's there, she's there to protect you. She's there, he's there to get you out of a jam. He's there, she's there, maybe to keep you from getting in a jam. He's there, she's there. That dog is there to protect you. It's called fight or flight for a reason. But if you allow that dog, and we're going to get into this, to overeat, then it throws everything out of balance. So that's the mean, the evil, the reptilian cortex dog. Then we have, it's the serpent dog. There's a picture for you. And then we have the dove dog, the good dog, the dog that is service to others, the dog that is kind, the dog that is pure, the dog that looks the other way, the dog that accepts, and the dog that believes. This is the dog. And Sandra talked about this on her channel in her series about sociopaths, empaths, narcissists, and highly sensitive and empathic people. The good dog is the highly sensitive person. The good dog is the empath. And the tendency of that good dog is to let the mean and evil dogs, and in this sense, it is mean and evil because it is manifested by those psychopaths, those sociopaths, those narcissists, those PSNs, to take advantage of your good dog. And there comes a time where you've got to realize that you don't have to be a good dog all the time. What happens to good dogs that won't fight back for themselves? They get chained up, they get beaten down, they get whipped, they get kicked. Every now and then they get a little pat on the head. Every now and then they get a scrap of meat. They keep you fed just enough to keep you there so they can torture you and beat you and mistreat you and use you and abuse you. And it's never going to stop until they lose you. That's the way it is. The good dog is the dove dog. And if you notice, Sitting Bull said that he feeds them both. Did you notice that? Which one wins? Which one's in control is really what they were asking Sitting Bull. And I believe, I don't know if this was a remote viewing or if it was a time slip or if it was just a download, but I can see Sitting Bull sitting there answering this question. I can see into his thoughts. I can see into his mind. I can see what he was trying to break down to these people. What he was telling them was, you have to feed both dogs. Did you notice what he said? It's the one I feed. So the one I feed means what? Both of them are getting fed, right? He's feeding both dogs. And you, in your life, to comply with the wishes of the master, to be subtle as serpent and gentle as dove, to live in the full hybridization created by the Elohim, to be perfect for this dimension, this planet, this world, the Homo sapien sapien, the serpent and dove. There's why our show is called Serpent and Dove, because we're talking about balance coming together to create a great whole. You have to feed them both. You need your mean and evil, quote unquote, wolf. You need your reptilian cortex. You need your serpent. And I think you probably guessed it by now. The reptilian wolf, the mean wolf, the evil wolf, that is your ego. It is it's a direct correlation to your ego. And the good wolf, the dove wolf, is your spirit. And they're two parts of a whole. You have to feed them both. You have to have a healthy ego to be a fully liberated spiritual being. Period. I'll drink to that. Distilled water, day 9 of my fast. No food. Loving it. You have to have a healthy ego. And especially if you're going to be in service. Do you really think that Scotty Roberts could do what he does without a healthy ego? Do you really think that Rocky Stucci, the Italian rapscallion, could do what he does without a healthy ego? Do you really believe Sandra D could do what she does without a healthy ego? Jenny, Heidi, Wayne, Rex, and I'll see Rex tomorrow. Jenny, Heidi, Wayne, Rex, Trisha, Dan from Overwatch Channel, and all the other people that I always forget. Warrior Princess, love her. And I could go on down the list. Do you think those people could do what they do without a healthy ego? No. If you do think they could, you're wrong. You have the right to be wrong, but you're wrong. You have to have a healthy ego, which means you have to feed it. You have to feed the serpent. But you feed the serpent less than you feed the dove. And here's why. Because the serpent makes a great servant. Your serpent part of you makes a great servant. And I'm speaking for Sandra, but I think I can speak for her. And if I'm wrong, I encourage her to say so in the chat room, which I haven't looked at because I'm so focused in on this. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just zoned in. If it wasn't for Sandra's serpent brain, if it wasn't for Sandra's subtle serpent part of her, if it wasn't for the quote-unquote mean, the quote-unquote evil, if it wasn't for Sandra's development of a healthy ego, and if it wasn't for Sandra's development of a healthy serpent wolf, she would not be living in full liberation today. She would still be somebody's good dog on a chain with a pat on the head every now and then to keep her around, tortured, mistreated, abused. It was the serpent wolf that allowed her to say, "What the hell am I doing here? I'm out of here." But we need to feed the good wolf. We need to feed the dove wolf more. And that's what Sitting Bull was saying. I feed them both, but I choose to be in a servant to others place. So I'm going to feed the dove wolf more than I feed the serpent wolf, because the dove wolf is the higher mind. The dove wolf is the service to others wolf. The dove wolf is the wolf that leads and guides and propels and leads and guides and helps organize and facilitate our upward path towards full divinity. It's the dove wolf that does that. And our default is this: we always want to be doves. But cousin, let me tell you something. We want to be doves. We want to be good. We want to be in service to others. But if you push us, and if you push us consistently, and if you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, cousin, I got a message for you. You may think that I'm just, and that people in this chat room are just good wolves, and you can continue to keep us on chains and bound and tortured and abused. But cousin, the day's coming where you're going to reach out your hand to abuse, to torture, or to give your little PSN, pats on the head, and you're going to draw back a bloody nub. Because the days of being deceived by you and being good dogs is over. We have fed, nurtured, and reared our serpent dog, and we've had enough. We don't want to do it, but we will if you push us too far. And that's not just for you physical PSNs, psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists. That's for your spiritual ones. And that's for you spiritual ones. We're through being subject to you. We're through living in your chains. We're through taking abuse at your hands. Go ahead. We're telling you to stop doing it. Reach out again. See what happens. Sitting Bull, inside of you are two dogs. One is fight or flight. One is there to protect you if you get pushed too far. The other is good. It's service to others. Serpent dog, he's service to self. She's service to self. No doubt about it. His job is to keep you alive. Serpent dog is to keep you alive long enough for dove dog to get you divine, sovereign, and free. And there might be times in your life where serpent dog might need another bone because you might have some business to do. We've got to feed them both. And when we get into spiritual maturity and we begin to start doing warfare and battle and taking this planet and this dimension back, we might alter the diet from time to time. We might adjust the portions of meaties from time to time. But at the end of the day, you want to feed the serpent dog enough to keep the serpent dog a happy, trustworthy, and healthy servant. But you don't want to feed him so much that he becomes a master, because he's also a PSN at heart. And if you let him take over your life, he will take over your life. She will take over your life. There's two dogs. They're not going away. We're built that way. And Sitting Bull understood this. We're built that way. One's a serpent, one's a dove. And they are constantly, they're kind of constantly at odds until you take control of your spirituality. They'll be at odds. Once you take control of your spirituality, once you realize this, once you get this, once the light bulb goes off and you know how to feed them right, and you know how to care for them right, and you know how to honor them both, ego makes a great servant, a horrible master. When you get that right, then they're not fighting against each other all the time. They're only fighting with each other until you decide to humble yourself and go to the seat of self and realize this and take control of your own stinking spirit. Take control of your own stinking body. What are you waiting for? Which one wins? The one that I feed the most. Sitting Bull was also saying, you know what? There's sometimes where a win requires feeding serpent dog a little more. But in a general course of action, it's more important to feed dove dog. Sitting Bull, great wisdom. Like I said, some have called me Shooting Bull, and that might be accurate. But I think that was some pretty good wisdom to drop on you. And let's go ahead and take a look at the chat room. Sterling watching the Rapscallions got me with the wisdom of Sitting Bull. Excellent. Thank you, Catherine. A gerbil lover. Yeah, that came out wrong. It did, Scotty. Sorry about that. Sitting Bull is Edwin's ancestor. Polarity lives within us. Great Serpent and Dove episode last night. Thank you, Julia. It is our privilege, as Sandra says. Sandra says balance. It's all about balance. Catherine saw a side of her partner acting like a wolf around men the other day. It could be appropriate. It could be inappropriate. Edwin's a beast at times. You savage, you. Shared this link on Facebook. Thank you so much for doing that. Wendy totally agrees with me. I must be on a good, in a good place for that. Yin Yang. Sandra says so true. Thank you, dear. You have to utilize a healthy ego. Ego is healthy, says Scotty. A common phrase in my home, feed the serpent, but don't fatten it up. Bam. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's love. That is divine coupling. Damn straight, Jeff. Thank you. The dove gets plenty of nourishment, but the serpent takes over when I have to be out and about, which I don't always like. Very good. Sandra says she's going to say it. Amen. Rocky Stucci, Italian rapscallion. Friggin' yo, here he is. And we're putting together a show right now where Rocky Stucci and Sandra D are going to be interviewed by me about addiction, dependency, and recovery, but very little about addiction and dependency. Mostly about recovery, because we don't want to talk about problems. We want to talk about solutions. Rocky says that he would totally touch my butt. Is it wrong that doesn't make me all that uncomfortable? There's not many men in this world I would spoon with, but I'd probably spoon with, you know, if it was cold and there was only one sleeping bag, I could probably spoon with Rocky or spoon with Scotty. I don't know if I'd spoon with John Ward, though. I'm not sure that I trust him in that way. Of course, I'm just kidding. Slap it. Yeah, that's like it. Slap it. My rapidly receding butt, I'll say, Rocky. But it's great to have good friends like this. It's great to have. Sandra says she'd be jealous. No need, baby. No need. But all I can say to you, Rocky, is keep your fingers to yourself. Keep your fingers to yourself. And that's a callback to another conversation that we've had. As Rex Bear is on the phone. How about this? How about this? Rex Bear, man, myth, legend, you're live on YouTube.
Holy cow, man, I'm so excited.
Isn't that awesome? Hey, listen, I'm finishing up a live show. I'll call you right back, okay?
Yeah, I'm on the road. Call me right back. I've got a long drive.
All right, brother, we'll do.
Maybe we can do a show live while I drive. All right, hang on.
Hey, yo. Say goodbye to the people, Rex. He didn't hear me. So anyway, scintillating live YouTube. We'll call Rex back after this. Awesome stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Scotty. Thank you to Rocky. Thank you to my love, Sandra. Thank you to all of you. You make this work. And I want to tell you something that Rocky said last night after we were off air. I'm not going to tell you everything he said because some of it, well, you know, romantic, but he said that he was so impressed with our chat room and the people that listen. He was so impressed with my subscribers. He says, we have some deep thinkers. We have some very tuned in and enlightened individuals. And I salute you. I say namaste to you because you are the best chat room, the best group of subscribers on YouTube. With all due respect to Brother Rex, it's the truth. Can't wait to get to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary tomorrow. Can't wait to get back on the air with Sandra. Can't wait to get back on the air with Scotty and with the Italian rapscallion. We've got so much good stuff coming up, folks. I don't know if you can sense it. I think you can. I don't know if you can feel it. I think you can. The best days of the Gospel Truth Army, the best days of NCK, the best days of this work, the best days of my life, the best days of your life, they're ahead of us. We are in the world changing business, and cousin, business is a booming. Right back at you, Sandra. You are the missing piece. And together with some of these great people, we're going to change this world. Jeffrey Daugherty, new cosmic knowledge. Ask questions, question answers. You're divine. You're sovereign. You're free. Feed both dogs, and that'll help you. Wait for it. Unindoctrinate yourself.